This is Andy.
Excitement's building.
This is Thursday.
I'm nervous. Breathe with me, guys.
And this is Andy on Thursday. That's right, we gave Andy his own show.
No way. No way.
Yes way, Andy.
Holy sheet.
Holy sheet indeed. Andy Given Thursday. Live every Thursday at 10 p.m. Eastern, only on the Comic Core.
It's 10 p.m. This is Andy Given Thursdays, the talking head show where we go around the panel for some fun topics and some comic book talk. And I, ComicManAndy. This is the Comic Core. So smash that subscribe button, be a part of the Comic Core family. Hit that thumbs up button for us, and if you could, and let's introduce this awesome panel tonight. So without further ado, we got Comic Books NYC in the house tonight. Kavi, great to see you. Congratulations on hitting 700 today.
Thanks, brother. I appreciate you, Andy. Thanks for having me on, man. Congrats on this Andy Given Thursday show. I really like the pun, and I'm excited for you. I'm glad to be on.
Thanks, man. It's gonna be a fun time one way or the other. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah, and, I'm all caffeined up. So
perfect.
I got the caffeine going.
That's probably a good idea. I should have done the same thing. And next is somebody who I'm really looking forward to talk to more. And that's TJ the Slabdragon Watson, man. How are you?
Good, and you? Glad to be here.
I'm doing great. How's your audio, man?
It's fine.
Perfect.
It's always great to see TJ.
And I think you're getting closer to your 2,000 mark, aren't you, man? How far are you now?
Yeah, I'm 15 away.
15 slabs away from 2,000. So
yeah.
2,000 slabs. That isn't.
Hopefully tonight we don't lose you in a slab avalanche. So
it is possible. Yeah.
And I'm really excited to bring this next guest on. And that's Ryan from Rhyno's Comic Report. Ryan, how are you?
What up? What's shaking? How's it going?
How's the weather in Texas, man?
Hot. It's already getting hot out here. It's like in the summer it's hot. In the winter it's just hot, and then spring it's god dang it's really hot out here. It's hot all the time.
Well, you know what? Let me hit up this chat really quick. We had some people tailgating tonight,
Nice.
And I'm not surprised at all. Chris Barrett's in the house tailgating. Bad news, Barrett has arrived. Thanks, Chris. Mr. Gretzky, thanks for hanging out, man. Thanks for your messages earlier. Southern Comic Geek. Hey, love watching your stuff on YouTube, and thanks for popping over tonight to hang out with us. Unruly Simeon, thanks for hanging out,
brother.
And that Stream Element spot's running. I know Legend loves giving credit to that thing, so there it is. Hey, Sam I Am Comics, what's up to you, man? And John's Comics with Kids. Wow, you got
I got royalty in here.
Yeah, chat full of royalty. Yeah, John, this is a stacked panel tonight. I want to say a big thank you to everybody for showing up. Schedules are tight. I know there's lots of stuff going on in the comic book community, and there's lots of great collaborations. So I really appreciate you guys giving me some of your time to come hang out. This is something I've kind of mulled around over the last week and a half, 2 weeks, and this is an idea of kind of getting together, and I labeled it top 5 comic book experiences. Now, you guys can format it however you want. It doesn't have to be exactly 5, but the idea is let's go around the horn and let's talk about some of those experiences that are kind of near and dear to our hearts and or really memorable, or maybe something like, for me, one of mine is something I really learned a lot about. Do you guys want to get right into it? Do you guys want to hit something else up first? What do you think?
How are we doing this round robin? Is it person to the left of you on the screen? Is it stage right? Is it stage,
How does that work? Because I'm looking at Kavi to my left and TJ down here and Ryan just below me. Is that the same for you guys?
Yeah.
That's what I see. Yeah.
Okay, so let's just go right around to the left.
Okay. So are we going down and up?
Yeah, let's go to my left and start with you, Kyle.
All right, so I'm going first. All right.
I keep breaking kayfabe.
Oh,
You gotta break the ice.
All right, I'll break the ice. And
how are
this
you gonna
one,
do?
look. Okay, don't come at me with criticism if this one sounds like it's like an easy one or a cop out or something. But look, I hit 700 subs today, which is for me like something I never thought I would get to. Like I never had any goals of getting subscribers. I just wanted to do it for fun. And the best part of getting those subscribers is along the way, some of those subscribers become people you talk to. And then some of those people that you talk to become friends. And then some of those friends become close, like super tight, good friends. And you go hang out with them in real life and you go do things in cities and Comic Cons. You know what I mean? And to me, like, I don't know how to like exactly describe this as a bullet point, but like being part of the community, like to me is like my most obvious best comic moment or experience. It's top comic experience, right? So if you take the word for what it's worth, experiences, being a member of this community, being a contributor of content to this community, making friends in the community, being able to send AOKs out and receive AOKs back from other members of the community, which, you know, this guy down here had a hell of a lot to do with inspiring me to kind of go a little crazy in that department, like probably a little overboard, honestly, sometimes. But hey, like I saw that kind of level of generosity from TJ back like in 2017, 2018, with his crazy AOKs and those live chats that I always got to be a part of in the chat, my mind being blown, whether it was Thanatos or Reggie or John or White Whale. You know, those were great, incredible moments and inspirational moments for me to sort of take that and run with it and hook up my own friends, you know, as much as I have the means to be able to do. And then that has come back, you know, tenfold with like, you know, the love coming back at me with people supporting my content, supporting me on Instagram, talking to me, especially during this quarantine. I'm stuck in like the worst possible place in the world right now during this quarantine. And if I didn't have this community, I would be nowhere, dude. I would be so far beyond bad, you know what I mean? Mentally. Mm-hmm. So, you know, and I'll show one thing, and this is an AOK that my friends, Bear Island, Adam, Kenny, Comic Head 84, George, D-Rock Comics, and JP's Budget Collecting. So those guys teamed up and got me this Michael Cho inked over David Bullock blue line, I think, or it may have been pencil, but it's mainly ink art. But it is a published page, and it's an awesome Robin on a motorcycle page right there, as you can see. And, you know, if you guys know anything about my channel, the main thing that I've been covering or focusing on lately is original art. So those guys teamed up to hook me up in a huge way with an original art AOK. And that's just one tiny, small example of like dozens of AOKs that I've received the last year or so. And, you know, dozens of AOKs that I've sent out into the world. I'm not going to list all the names and all the books, but like I've been giving people books that I've wanted on my list. And I was like, well, I'd rather have that person get it. You know what I mean? And I genuinely feel better about that than having the book myself. So that's kind of combined. That's at the top of my list. I'm starting with my number one. That's number one. Everything else will be below that. So I hope that's a good way to start.
That's an excellent way to start, man. And I'm actually a recipient of that AOK kind of deal where you're loose change.
Oh yeah, I remember that. Yeah.
Carolina Chris won first place on that. And what did he do? He turned around and he said, send it to Andy. And I was stunned. I was literally stunned. Really quick, while we've got people watching right now at the beginning of the show, there are 3 major Mainframe Comic Con announcements that we're going to do later on here, maybe in the third quarter of the show. So yeah, just wanted to get that out really quick.
What is that? What are you talking about?
Mainframe Comic Con starts the Comic Con Saturday and Sunday, but the Comic Core
starts
family
in 2 hours.
There's going to do a kickoff show starting at 4 p.m. tomorrow on the Comic Core channel. They're going to get everybody together and they're going to do a kickoff show, and they're going to go live and they're going to stay live for probably almost all of the night, if not, well, most of the night, if not all of it.
So it's going to be at least, if not the best convention this year, the second best, at least.
At least.
So
I still can't believe I went to C2E2, like the last convention, like written in the history books. So,
I know, right? Yeah, that's something.
I got to hang out with Andy there. That was so cool, man.
That's part of my comic book experience list tonight too. But
mine too, because something that I'm going to do here is going to be from that.
Awesome,
nice. Moving right along around the horn, if we can drop down to TJ here, man, what you got for us?
Well, I'm going to start off with the first book for my second round collection. This is the first slab I ever bought.
Ooh.
Oh man,
the Neil Adams cover, and this is the one. This is what started my whole journey in getting back to the comic books. So I thought I'd show that off. My first slab.
Honestly, I'm kind of surprised that it doesn't have like the first generation of CGC labels. Knowing you,
yeah,
like
it
the
was
original.
2005. It was 2005. This was brand new when I bought it. Just came out.
TJ, you don't have to share all the specifics, but is that the book where you shared a story one time on a video? And I think that may have been like the first day I ever talked to you. Like I hit you up on Instagram, or maybe you hit me up because I commented on your video or something. But
this wasn't the first book. The first book was a Michael Turner.
Turner.
Wizard World art book. But this was the first CGC slab I got a week later.
Pre-slab book.
Yeah, this is the first slab book. Yeah.
Nice.
That's awesome, man.
I never saw a slab before this book.
Yeah,
that started it all 1984 slabs ago.
Yeah.
So that was the first slab to buy?
Yeah, I went in the store, saw this on the counter, and said, "What is that?" I never saw one before.
Yeah,
I've been out. Stopped collecting in the '80s, and I started back in 2005. First time I was in that store by accident. I bought that Michael Turner and Neil Adams book and stuff, but I went back a week later, and this was on their behind the register, and I said, "What is this?" And this started it all.
Well, you started with the high grade, so
So correct me if I'm wrong. Correct me if I'm wrong, TJ, but didn't CGC start, was it 2000 or 2004?
No, they started in 2000.
2000. Okay, so that's still pretty early in their days. And for anybody watching that is unaware, doesn't know, TJ, the Slabdragon down here, has been a mega inspiration and basically a lot of our... He's essentially the community's sensei when it comes to collecting slabs. I've hit him up for some knowledge. I know a lot of other people have. I did an unboxing on my channel a couple of weeks ago, and I hit him up, and I'm like, dude, man, you really helped me out. TJ, you've really pushed me to learn about grading, to grade books better, to learn more about the grading process and the CGC process, and it paid off in dividends for me. So thank you very much.
Oh, you're quite welcome.
Didn't mean to cut you short, but for those people watching tonight that don't know you, that aren't aware of you, you're basically our CGC sensei.
Thank you so much.
Yeah.
I like that. CGC sensei. It's totally appropriate.
That just right off the top of my head. I'm not going to pat my own back because you earned that one, TJ.
I'm the sensei. It's cool. I'm glad I met the sensei today.
So now for everybody else that hasn't been watching, as we segue into our next guest here, Ryan, you've been around collecting for quite a while. You've had a Facebook group for a while, but we've finally pushed you into getting a YouTube channel so you can multi-stream, because you are just starting to scratch the surface of this amazing community, man.
Yeah.
Just wait.
It's exactly, and that's kind of where I wanted to start off with our stories today. To this guy right here, I wanted to piggyback on his comment.
NYC is good if you forget my name. It's Kavi. NYC is totally cool.
The community is cool, and getting to learn the community has been really one of the fun parts for me. I just said I collected a lot. I collected comic books when I was real young. I took a break for a long period of time and got back into it somewhat recently. And I've got Facebook allows you to get into a lot of communities and get to know. You find out. I was telling someone the other day that the comic book community is kind of a little city. Everyone that kind of likes to talk about the same thing, but I didn't know that the YouTube aspect or the streaming, even I did it on Facebook and just like NYC, I had no, or Covey, I didn't have no goals. I just kind of did it because I wanted to. I started unboxing, and then I was like, I saw YouTube. Then I got to see ComicManAndy, what you were doing. I got to see what Simple Man Comics. Like, well, so I don't have to be some major guy just to do this. I can make my own little thing. So, I had a background as being a musician. This was my opportunity to kind of be able to perform again, in a sense, or be in front of a live audience. And so, dip my toes into the pool, and it's been great. Like the community, the comic book community inside YouTube is almost it's kind of two different worlds talking about the same thing. But it's very they welcome you with open arms, and it's been very cool to kind of get to know everyone. Everyone's like, hey, we want to help you out, kind of get up and go, and just not like a real sense of like competition like you would see as far as like on a Facebook when you have different options. There'll be a strong sense of competition against each other, whereas in YouTube you're trying to help build the community together. And so that's probably been one of the coolest experiences so far of kind of just in the past few years of getting back into collecting, and then adding the YouTube and the streaming aspect of to what I do.
Nice, very cool, man. Yeah, thanks for that. Appreciate it. I'm gonna roll into.
I appreciate YouTube for kind of pushing me as well. He's always like, "When are you gonna put your thing out? What are you gonna do next?"
Well, that's the idea, man. I got pushed into this too, and I'm like, well, nobody wants this.
Everybody is somebody else's pusher when it comes to.
I love it, man. I love it.
I mean, yeah, I just subbed Rhyno up like a couple of days ago because I wasn't aware of your channel. I'll just be completely honest.
Yeah.
And when Andy hooked us all together to do the show, I was like, oh, cool. Let me go check this out. Somebody I don't recognize. So I always sub people that I don't recognize. YouTube doesn't make that easy anymore, unfortunately.
No. So
but,
that's a hot button topic, in my opinion. Is YouTube has dropped our ability to hit the little 3 buttons to the right of everybody's name and click go to channel.
Yeah,
I haven't noticed that.
That's
and
kind of
some people's channel names, like if you just search for it on YouTube, it is literally impossible to find the channel.
Well, I know ComicManAndy. When I was trying to find him, I had the hardest time trying to find you. And I was determined because I saw you on one of the Simple Man comic shows where you came in and you did a little thing. Like you, Carolina
podcast that they did.
Podcast. Yeah. And I was like, this comic, and he says he has a YouTube channel somewhere. I'm trying to find. And I say, am I spelling it wrong? I mean, I don't know how I think I end up messaging Simple Man Comics and Simple Man, and they end up somehow getting me connected somehow. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So that's a great topic to bring up. Anybody watching tonight, remember to go down just below the show here after it posts. I'm not sure if it's up while we're going live, but click see more, and in the whole description underneath the episode is going to be the special guests and all of their links. Comic Books NYC's links that are there, TJ's links, Ryan's links, the Comic Core links. They're all right there. That's why we tag them on there, is for everybody to be able to, hey, I don't know Ryan and I like his stuff. Let me go hit him up. Let me go hit up Comic Books NYC and TJ. It's all there, guys. Make sure you click on everybody and sub them up. They appreciate it. We appreciate it, because the more we connect, the more we communicate, the better the hobby's going to get, right?
You're right on.
Definitely.
So I'll go into my little blurb here for a minute, and I gotta give a shout out to Seawood19. Yep, he's had us doing so many lists on Modern Men that I actually paper wrote a top 5 list, and I'm like, this is way too structured. But my first one's gonna be rebuilding my original Punisher collection of raw books. When I joined the Marine Corps, comic books don't travel. And I tried to make that happen and put them in a storage unit. And I finally said, nope, found a local shop. Here's my stuff. What do you give me? And I basically sold off my entire collection for beer money. And I regret that every day. So one of my greater experiences right now is being able to go back and rebuild that Punisher Raw collection, because thankfully most of it's still in dollar bins.
Yeah.
So I was able to knock out huge chunks of that and sit down and start reading some of that. So yeah, let me take this moment too. Mine's done. To shout out the Hero Initiative. The Comic Corps, we try to shout out the Hero Initiative much as possible. They've been doing they exist for comic book creators in need. So if anybody is interested in being a hero, visit heroinitiative.org and consider making a donation or at least sharing that information. And there is our first super chat of the night. Rod Justarican, thank you very much. That $5 super chat goes to the Hero Initiative. So all the monetization of the Comic Corps channel does go to the Hero Initiative. We thank you very much. And yeah, let's get ready for this weekend, because
Rod Justarican and its comics. It's pretty cool.
Yep. Rod, thanks for stopping in, man. We really appreciate it. We really appreciate your support and hanging out. So yeah, Hero Initiative, at least spread the word if you can't donate. And if you can donate, they greatly appreciate it. They've got a lot going on. They've had that store where you've been able to go and actually get sessions with writers and artists and creators.
Super
and
cool.
They've sold out. Like Monday night, Carson sent me, hey, they're going to post this tonight. We're going to talk about it on Modern Men. Okay, cool. Well, and then he goes on. He's like, oh, it's half of it's sold out already. It sells out fast. So heroinitiative.org, check that out. See if any of that's still up.
Yeah, you can't go to a con, but you could do like a one-on-one Zoom session with like your favorite whatever inker, whatever or whatever. There's some cool stuff on there.
They had Chip Zdarsky on there. Chip
It's
Zdarsky
crazy.
for $69. I wonder if that was planned.
Watch out.
We got our next super chat here. Skeff's Comic Knowledge. Skeff, thank you very much. One for the super chat, which is going to the Hero Initiative. And anybody that's here, that's watching, that doesn't know Skeff, sub him up, check him out. He's a newer channel. He's around 200 subscribers. And he has, in my opinion, some of the coolest, like cool cat reserved kind of reactions to CGC unboxings. And he did a full 9/8 box on his channel.
You came so close.
You came so close, Andy. I was on the edge of my like
Me
feet.
too, man.
Yep.
Or edge of my seat or whatever.
I went 10 for 11. I went 10 for 11 and I found his unboxing, and he went all for all 9/8.
Man,
he's done some
things. That's awesome.
Boy, oh boy, I'm gonna have to. This is just gonna be a show where we're shouting everybody out tonight. But yeah, sub up Skeff, check him out. He's a really cool guy, and what makes him even cooler is his amazing beard.
I'm gonna say his beard.
Skeff, we appreciate you, man. Welcome to the community. Thanks for hanging out tonight. Thanks for that super chat. And then let me hit up Unruly Simeon. So I was an 0331, man. I was a machine gunner. That's why my back and my knees are blowing out. And yeah.
Keep the comb in, man. Keep the comb in.
It just kind of stays there now.
If it's there for a few minutes too long, you'll get lost.
Yeah. It reminds me of that shot I took of Jimmy the Geek aficionado reacting to your beard at C2E2. I love that shot.
Eventually, if I leave it here, the beard's just going to grow around it like a tree does, right? Like with a bicycle.
It's gonna.
Unruly Simeon, thank you so much, man. $5 going to the Hero Initiative. I appreciate it. And that
you said me too also, by the way.
Me too?
Meaning like similar service.
Oh yeah.
In the military.
Simeon, were you in the Marine Corps as well? Hit us up. Oh,
yeah, he's sharing some stuff.
Oh, there it is. Thanks, Kavi. I am terrible at the chat.
No worries, man. StreamYard's all delayed anyway.
Yep, 1-7 first. Yeah, see, I've got the live stream up on the other screen, but I wasn't paying close enough attention. First Division. Awesome, man. Thank you. And Rod coming back at us with is this a competition now?
Let's turn this into a fundraiser. for the rest of the
Yeah.
show. Let's do it. Well, every show's a fundraiser for you guys.
Every show's up. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And that brings up a great point. Rod, thank you for the $6 super chat going to the Hero Initiative. This weekend, the Mainframe ComicCon.com is supporting the Hero Initiative and the Red Cross COVID Fund.
Oh,
so not only is it free to attend the Mainframe Comic Con and watch and take in the content and check it out and buy some comic books and hang out, the donations are going to like the Hero Initiative and the Red Cross COVID Fund. So it's, it's not for profit essentially, if that is the correct term, if I'm remembering that. Yeah, moving along. Let me hit up this chat here because they've been super chatting the heck out of us.
It's on fire.
Yeah, Skeff's hanging out. Unruly Simeon's hanging out. You can't have a chat without Chris Barrett. I mean, that's just not possible to have a chat. I'm pretty sure that if Chris Barrett doesn't show up to the chat, the stream never starts.
So
right? Just a Rican hanging out. Mark Knapp 68. Thank you, man. Great to see you. He's around quite a bit too. StreamYard is delayed a little bit. Sam I Am still here. Unruly, yep. Ground pounding. Yeah, that's why everybody's knees are blown out. The beard has come back nicely. Yeah. It came back pretty good.
The beard.
Hanging out. See, this is why I'm not sure what's up with Google Chrome. We don't get to see all the little emojis that he put in there, but
we're out.
Yeah, StreamYard is running a little late. We got the Dorkeries in here. Thank you. Appreciate you.
Dorkeries.
Yep, there it is. Yeah, it's about a 25-second delay right now. Love their content. It's really cool. Like, I'm surprised you guys agree so much and hang out and have a good time because I think my wife and I would be bickering back and forth every 5 seconds. But so that's the first round of Around the Horn, if you will. Kavi, what do you got for us next, man?
Oh boy, I got to go first every round. This is like this is a lot of pressure. All right, so we kind of talked. We talked a little bit about C2E2, I guess. So, I mean, you and I got to hang out and meet, and you and me got to hang out with me. You got to meet a bunch of the other people I got to hang out with and meet. Like it was just the yard at C2E2 even could just be my entry because that encompasses sort of almost like not every, but almost every YouTube comic book community member that was at C2E2, which unfortunately is the last major convention to have taken place, potentially for a long time. To have us all there hanging out, sharing some drinks and laughs, taking some photos, talking about books, that was the best. That was, outside of being a member of the community and making the friendships and the connections in the first place, which was my number one. Number two was probably that was the most amount of community members that I got to hang out with at the same time so far. Like, I think even more than New York Comic Con last year, which will be my third one, which will be my number 3, spoiler alert. But yeah, I'll just say that the yard at C2E2. So cool. So many of us were hanging out, and a lot for the first time, some for the second time, but it was just an awesome experience. I think I saw Steve Woodard in here in the chat. He was there. Los was there. I Got Issues. Chris was there. Andy, me, Bear Island, JP, George, Comic Head 84. There's one of the picks. Jimmy, the Geek Aficionado. Yeah, that was a classic pick right there. I mean, that was such a blast. So
it took me a minute to find it.
So I don't want to spend like 10 minutes talking about all the different cool things at C2E2 and whatnot, just because I don't want to make people like itchy for a con, But a lot of these memories are cons, and I was also at the same time at that con able to add one of my holy grails to my collection. So I'll just show one book to summarize C2E2. That's TMNT number 1, first print, 8.0. And also signed and remarked by Kevin Eastman and Peter Laird on the interior cover, like they used to do back in the day. So,
So that's, dude. C2E2 was amazing. That was a fun time. This is I just grabbed the one picture because it's the first thing I was able to get to. I love George's looking off in the wrong direction on her. I think you messaged me on IG and you were like, "Hey, we're gonna go grab something to drink and we're over here." And I'm like, "We're in the yard and there's a line, but it's moving really fast." And like, "All right, we're headed that way."
I was the one sending out the coordinates to everybody at the con to try and get that photo up or hang to happen, because it was crazy. Like, that was Saturday. You know what I mean?
We didn't leave the yard for 2 to 3 hours.
2 to 3 hours. Yeah, that was the best. So.
But Kavi, show that book one more time, man, if you could, please.
Sure.
That is, yeah. Let me do this proper here.
Nice.
Wrap around.
Oh wow, that's cool.
And an 8.0 on that book is stunning for as old as it is right now, because that's almost all black. That book is notoriously difficult to get in high grade.
Yeah, it is. Believe me, I tried. I tried winning a 9.4 on Comic Link the Thursday night before C2E2. I tried going after it. I got outbid by a lot, by a lot.
So Kavi, is TMNT your jam, or?
TMNT is one of my jams. The TMNT was like my first jam, if you will, like as a kid, especially the cartoons, and then also, of course, the movie. I got some exposure to the comic books, more the kiddie comic books later on, but for me, adulthood, going back and collecting the volume 1 run of Eastman and Laird's TMNT is more of like an adult satisfying my childhood dreams type thing, versus like something I actually had any experience with when I was into Turtles as a kid. You know what I mean? I wasn't really I didn't have any money for one thing. And then the second thing, I wasn't like a hardcore comic book collector when I was a kid. I was more of a baseball card, basketball card, sports cards, trading cards, even some other non-sports trading cards like wrestling stuff. But trading card type of kid until I was like a teenager. Then I started experimenting a little bit more with comic books and other things. But
I was looking at my mom's attic just recently and came across the box of all the TMNT's first generation action figures. I have them all.
Yeah, I had toys. I had toys and action figures too. I don't know where they are, what happened to them. I mean,
yeah, I
have no clue.
So this is a great segue really quick. I promised some knowledge nuggets here.
I figured it was a good segue, so I was teeing you up a little bit.
This is perfect, man. So
I was alley-ooping you a little.
One of the major announcements we have tonight for the Mainframe Comic Con, it is 100% confirmed now, and I can say it, that one of the guests that's going to be on is Kevin Eastman.
There you go.
Kevin Eastman is going to be joining Mainframe Comic Con this weekend.
Awesome. So cool.
I don't have the schedule on it, and Chad was talking about it a little bit before we went live, and I kind of blacked out. Should have written it down. I don't remember what time frame or time slot Kevin Eastman's going to fit in, but check out mainframecomiccon.com. Kevin Eastman is going to be a part of that. So
awesome.
I'm really excited for that. He's 100% on for that. So moving on, TJ, man.
Well, I just wanted to say, has any of you seen the Toys That Made Us on the?
I have.
Oh yeah.
Good. That was really
good. The TMNT episode was extremely good.
My favorite part is when the guy was talking about how they couldn't keep them on the shelves.
Yeah.
Transformers
was good too, man. Yeah, that's a great show.
Well, my next major achievement in my collection is my first Grail that I got about 3 years after I started. That would be,
Speaking of 9.4s, TJ whips out a 9.4 181. Oh man.
I bought this a long time ago. It was just under $3,000. I paid for it in a layaway from a place in Texas called Worldwide Comics.
Yes, I love Worldwide Comics. Love doing business with them.
Yeah, that was back when Matt Nelson was still with them and not with CGC.
Right.
Oh wow. Oh
that
man,
was a long time ago.
Look at how crisp that is. Look how good the purple is on Hulk shorts.
Damn.
No, that's pretty awesome.
Are you ever going to reholder that one, TJ, or are you going to keep it in that vintage label?
Eventually, I would like to reholder everything, but we'll see.
Yeah.
that costs money, and every money I spend on something else is not like money I can
Exactly.
spend on.
Exactly.
Yeah. That's awesome, man. That is real.
I'm
Hell yeah, it's a
not
grill.
that unhappy with these cases, but they're not as good as the new ones. But,
They're not as good as the new ones. Yeah.
yeah.
True, but you know, the older cases, you can fit more slabs into the box.
Can you really? Is it really that different? Is it really
yes.
that much thinner that you could fit more? Okay, I haven't actually done that math, but I guess you're right.
So let me ask you this question quick, TJ. Have you ever considered that having cleaned and pressed, considering it's an older label 9.4?
Well, considering Matt Nelson was doing all my pressing, I'm kind of feeling that one was probably already pressed.
Oh,
Yeah.
that one was already pre-done. Okay, gotcha.
I would assume. He never told me if it was or not, but he was co-founder of Worldwide Comics, and he also did pressing back before CGC.
Okay.
He was one of the founders of pressing, one of the originals that started the whole pressing craze.
Nice. So that was early days before it became something where people were writing books and selling books on too.
Yeah.
Then.
Exactly. That was back when pressing was frowned upon.
Yeah.
Time. Yeah.
It was considered restoration, I guess.
A lot of the old-time collectors thought it was, yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
They didn't like CGC. They didn't like pressing. They didn't like anything.
I remember around 98 or 99, 2000, I remember hearing about, why would I send my comic books out and have them encapsulated? And then I couldn't read them. I was totally against it. Now I just know to buy a reader copy.
Yeah.
Yeah, see, CGC came around. CGC started their business when I was like 16 or 17 years old, and this is when I was like gravitating away from I wouldn't say away, but kind of slipping away a little bit from my nerdy obsessions and going more into like things like music and girls and stuff. So So I didn't realize about CGC until like almost when I got back into the hobby like full time, which was like a dozen years later or something like that. So
right.
So I had a lot of catching up to do, like in my understanding of what CGC does, what are all the different accepted practices are, and stuff like that. I wish I kept tabs on it, frankly, but yeah, we do.
Yeah, I love hitting up some of these great comments, but I hate covering up Ryan and TJ on the podcast.
Oh, it's all good. Who wants to see this ugly mug anyways?
I think next time I do this show, I might make myself at the bottom because I'll cover myself up and let everybody else get seen. But TJ, man, that's hard to top that, man.
That's a good first grail right there.
Yeah.
This is still to this day the most expensive book in my collection.
Oh, I would imagine so.
Yeah.
That's an awesome book.
Great book.
Very, very cool book, man.
Controversial book too, at that.
Yeah, it can be. Yeah, it definitely can be.
Is it the first or is it not the first? All this jazz.
The market
Whatever.
That's gonna be always the first.
Yeah.
Just get both books. Like that's what that's my opinion on it.
Ooh, look who hit the chat.
What's up?
There's only one time that the market switched that I can even remember is when Giant Size X-Men #1 and X-Men 94. 94 was the big book, and Giant Size X-Men #1 was not, and that switched.
Yeah. That I even remember from the 90s, like in the little comic book collecting or comic book knowledge I had when I was, in my teens or whatever. I always thought that X-Men 94 was at that time was the big X-Men book to get.
So, before we move on,
I just want to say this in case he watches on the replay. John's Comics with Kids. You're not watching me. You're doing your own show right now. Thank you so much. Appreciate that.
Thanks, John.
Yes.
Before we move on, let me hit up this chat really quick because Simpleman's Comics stopped in, said, "What's up?" Thanks, man. Great deal of inspiration comes from him, and a great deal of knowledge comes from him and Jack. We appreciate it. And Martin Soul, thanks for stopping in, man. New name. Hey, if you hadn't subbed up the Comic Core, hit that subscribe button and welcome to the family, welcome to the community, because you're in for a ride. So buckle up.
Martin, what's up?
Yeah, Chris Barrett still in the chat. Unruly Simeon says it's the money book. Yeah, and Brian, one of his top 5 comics for watching Andy run outside the ball. Oh, Okay, so I'll get to that here in a little bit as we keep moving along. I'll keep moving this along here. I don't want to take up too much of your guys' time, but yeah, Mr. Bolo, I'm honored. Thanks for stopping.
Yo, what's up?
Great to see you. Rod's still hanging out. Hit that like and subscribe. We really appreciate it. And Fox Crown, $4.99 super chat. Hulk, smash that like button. Hey, thank you. And know that is going to the Hero Initiative. They appreciate it. We appreciate it. Thank you very much. I'll leave that up for a bit here as long as I can. But let me say hi to Nolan Broughton. Thanks for stopping in. New name.
Nolan's from Outcast Comics.
Oh, is he? Oh, very cool. Yeah. I didn't recognize the name.
Yeah, got a little something for him. I'm gonna open up here in a bit.
So now we got to get him to start a YouTube channel and get him on the community, because that's one of the topics I'm going to go into in a little bit later. Is this is essentially the forums from the early 90s. This is how we're communicating like we used to on messages in the forums with pictures and text. Now we're just doing it live on camera.
Right.
So
I think Outcast Comics has the YouTube, but it's in that embryo stage.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Darknap 68 still hanging out. Gray Matter Hulk, thanks for stopping by. And he just walked into a 941.
Yo, Gray Matter.
We did not geek responsibly in Baltimore. No, we geeked responsibly in Baltimore, and then after the fact, we overdid it. That's part of my story. I'm looking forward to that when we get there. So he does have a YouTube channel. So Nolan Broughton, everybody that's not aware, go ahead and hit him up, sub him up, and check that out. It's appreciated, because the more people we bring into the community, the more variety we bring in, the better we can make things and the better we can collect things. So
Nolan would be Outcast Comics, yeah.
Oh, here's Brian with some old school knowledge. I'm gonna leave that right in the gutter where it needs to be. So, moving on, TJ, that was awesome. Brian, what do you have next for us?
So doing first, I thought I'd pull out my first slab. Now I don't know, like when I was gonna get it collecting books, I was reluctant to get slabs as well, kind of like you were saying, Andy. And I was like, man, that's a lot. Why am I going to do that? To just because I get the book and it'd be just the same. But then I summoned up the guts and I was like, all right, I'm going to get one. And I got this was my first one that I got. So it's a Venom 1. It's a Mayhew. And yeah, I was like, I remember when I was looking, I was eyeing it. It was on a Sunday when I got it, because I was like, why isn't anyone jump on this thing? And I was like, I can't leave it. I think I got it for $30.
Wow.
Yeah. I was like, why isn't anyone? There's something wrong with this thing? And no, it didn't. So once I got it in. I was like, yeah, this is cool. I see why people like these now, and that's where my collection. Now my collection can't even sniff the size TJ's is, but I've enjoyed it, and I made it to kind of cut down on the amount of money I spend on stuff. I only collect the CGCs or the graded books when they're virgins, unless they don't make it in virgins. So this is the first one. I was really stoked to get it, and still love it to this day.
Sweet.
Very cool, man. And
Nice
you're one
one.
of the more prolific Venom collectors that I think I've met. Venom's your thing, man. If I need to know something Venom, I'm definitely sending you a message.
Yeah.
So I definitely appreciate that.
If I don't know the answer, I love trying to find it for sure.
I'm gonna make mine quick, because I don't want to keep you guys longer than you need to be, and don't hesitate to drop out if you got to drop. No hard feelings. Like I said, it's around the horn, and we're sharing stories. If it runs long, it runs long. If you guys got to go, you can go. Number 4, for me, it's going to be learning how to grade comics. I'm still in that process, but being able to differentiate a 9.8 and a 9.6 and a 9.4 is something I'm getting better at. I'm really appreciative of that. TJ's kind of pushed me on that. A lot of the other guys have pushed me on that. And I'm at the point where I want to start making a video log on my own channel, where I'm actually holding myself accountable and video grading the books that I send off, so that I actually retain the knowledge. Because I've made notes and I've lost them. And then 4 or 5 months later, I get the books and I'm like, I think this is what I graded it at. Yeah. So moving along.
Yeah, there's a difference between eyeball grading skills and like literally notating every single flaw and then matching that list of flaws over to the guide. You know what I mean? And sorting through. Okay, this is one of 3 possible grades, and which is it? You know what I mean?
Yep.
That's tough, and I don't have that skill either. I would love to get better at it. Love to study it deeper.
Yeah, and
So that's cool.
for me, it's when I'm sending out Punisher books, I'm going for that 9.8. So if I get a 9.6, I'll still add it to my registry. I'll still add it to my collection, but I'm still gonna work towards getting that 9.8 for that full run that I'm working on.
See, and
But
I like the getting graded. The biggest reason for me is because it's to encapsulate it and to for the so I can store it in something it'll protect it for a long time. So that's for the longevity, I guess you would say.
They don't make that word easy to say. Encapsulate.
Yeah.
Encapsulate.
Like all kinds of grades, there's been a couple times I've been disappointed, but being able to keep it, because I'm passing my collection. The whole reason why I do this is for my son. So yeah.
So
Nice.
Chris Barrett, no one has anywhere to be. That is true, but people do have other shows scheduled. We've found a way of life where we can accommodate content and other things. So granted, there are people here on this panel that have other shows scheduled, so I'm trying to be thoughtful of their schedules as well tonight. And I do want all the 9.8, 9.9 Punishers, but that's just not realistic. Thanks, man. Skeff's still hanging out. Thanks, man. He usually finds it easier when he submits multiples of the same book. Yeah, that's getting harder to do with books out of the 80s, though. So I moved on from mine. Kavi, did you want to roll into yours or?
Sure. You said that was your number 4, but I think it was actually your number 3. But we can skip a number if we want to.
Yeah. That's fine too.
All right. So I'm going to tell this one because this one's a little bit, I guess, sentimental. I guess, but I don't know. I guess it depends on how I'm feeling, how many details I'll share. But I think most people who collect slab books, and well, no, that's probably an assumption also. So I'm not going to say most people. I'm never going to say most people, but I think there are people who do slab books for purely sentimental reasons, and there's no like financial or, if you look at the book by itself, a casual collector would be like, why would you ever slab that book, right? Everybody's had that thought, before. But there's might be a sentimental reason, right? So the next 2 books I'm showing have sentimental reasons for me to have gotten them slabbed. And that's, and they're books that I would never sell. I would never give them away. These are books that I probably would want to pass down to whomever or take with me to whatever. It's that level of like importance to me personally, the books, but they have really no major value, right? So I guess I could start the story by saying I think it was like 2017 or maybe 2018, amazing Las Vegas Comic Con. So that was a convention that I attended. Flew to go attend, stayed there, whatever. Took some vacation time, went to have fun at that con. But what the memory I will take away most from that con is that I got to spend time with, bond, and hang out with the guy that was basically single-handedly most responsible for me getting back into comics. So this is somebody that I admired, followed, had a chance to have conversations with, and then finally got a chance to hang out with at a con and get to know on a deeper level throughout that experience. And the 2 books that I'm about to show, I got at that con. They weren't gifts from this person or anything like that, but they remind me of that, right? They remind me of that time spent because sadly, like 2 weeks after that, this person passed away. Ooh. So that's the last memory I have of that experience. You know what I mean? Hanging out and really getting to bond with the person that like helped hook me back into this stuff, right? So the first one, and this is crazy because this is a book signed by Stan Lee that I got at a mystery box, and you can see on the back, amazing Las Vegas Comic Con. got in a mystery box at Amazing Las Vegas Comic Con. Now it's just, you know, Spider-Man 94 throwaway issue. Really nothing significant. It's a 90s Spider-Man book. And it's, you know, signed by Stan. Wanted a mystery box with a COA, so I obviously couldn't get it slabbed by CGC. Had to send it into CBCS for one of their, you know, verified, there it is, verified signature, Stanley. And, you know, it's just, I had to get it slabbed and encapsulated and preserved because of that memory. And then the other book, which is also from a story from that same convention, is this True Believers copy, literally a True Believers copy of Infinity Gauntlet #1, not even the real book. And this book I dropped on the floor right in front of Jim Starlin. Like literally, I dropped it on the floor right in front of Jim Starlin. Hence part of the reason why it's a 6.5. But it was, you know, I got to see Jim Starlin do an awesome panel at that convention, talk about his thought process in creating the Thanos character. I got to ask him a bunch of questions. They gave away a copy of this True Believers at that panel. And then right before I bounced from the con, the last thing I did was go up to Jim Starlin's table, talk to him for a little bit longer, and have him sign this book, literally right after I dropped it. So so those are two awesome memories from a convention that I, you know, was lucky enough to attend in the last, you know, 4 or 5 years. So really, you know, books that have literally no value. Well, maybe the Stan Lee book has value just because he signed it. I don't know, but I don't know who's looking for a Spider-Man 94 8.5 red label signed by Stan Lee. And I don't know anybody looking for a True Believers Infinity Gauntlet #1 6.5 red label CBCS signed by Jim Starlin. Except for this guy right here, because I'm never getting rid of this book. So there it is.
I mean, I think I want that True Believers slab now because of your story.
There you go.
You know what, man? That's much like finding a Golden Age book or a Silver Age book with a date stamp on it. It has a story. The book,
yeah. The story is everything. Like I look at that book and I remember
story.
Specific conversations that took place and everything.
So that's kind of like a date stamp for you in your life with that book of that collection. In my opinion, that's priceless.
Yeah, that's my that's book, like literally, like I would sell any other 2 books except for those.
Yeah. Dude, that is, and even
like if I had to, like I'm not trying to sell my collection or anything, but
and even the chat here, man, is just damn, that's a heartfelt message. It's a great memory.
Thanks, guys, appreciate it.
Gomer, hey, thanks for hanging out. Dude, yeah, that is a great message. Those are 2 great books, and grades aside, man, it's about the memory. It's about
exactly.
The memory.
Yeah. Rest in peace.
Yeah,
For sure.
that's exactly, and that's what those books are going to live for now, is to tell that story and tell the story of that individual.
Yeah,
moving forward. So those are priceless.
Unruly's hating on date stamps in the chat, but I know what he's saying. Like it's not for that. That's not for everybody. The literal date stamp.
TJ, I hate for you to have to follow up that awesome story, man, but you got
TJ's got plenty of emotional stories. Like I've cried on some of TJ's videos. So
I'm saving the most sentimental one for the last one.
There you go. Good call. 2
more to do. This one, my first convention that I took my best friend to, and I met Stanley.
Nice.
And 2013. And I didn't know what I was going to have him sign, so I just found something on eBay like a couple weeks before. It was like a near man, cost $40, and this is the result of that.
Oh, sweet!
Wow.
Boom! Right? Yeah.
9.6.
Yeah. Is that 17? Boom, 17.
Yes, 17. Yep.
Nice.
Yep.
That's a gorgeous cover.
And
That's a
day.
perfect place for Stan to sign it.
Yep. Yeah, I got lucky.
Yeah.
It was late in the day, and he was looking so tired. His handlers had him propped up, and basically telling him, "Here, sign."
Yeah.
And I just they didn't look very happy. I was talking to him, but I told Stan Lee that when I was a kid and I wrote him letters, it meant the world to me that he wrote me back, and he actually smiled.
Oh man.
Oh, that's cool.
That's cool.
Yep. So yeah, this is meeting the Stan the Man was one of my highlights.
I had the pleasure of also meeting Stan, but I'm not putting it on the list because it wasn't at a comic book related or comic related thing. But honestly, I should have put it on the list. It didn't matter what it was. I still got to meet him, which was really awesome. That was an incredible thing. I felt definitely lucky to have met him.
Yeah,
I thought you
I
were about
didn't
to
shake his
tell us
hand
you
because I was afraid he'd break. He looked so fragile.
Yeah.
thought you were about to tell us that you ran into him getting coffee one time or something.
It's similar to that, but it was when I was living in Los Angeles. You know, I moved to New York like 5 years ago, but I was in Los Angeles for 10 years before that. So there was, you know, more of an opportunity to run into Stanley. He had his whole LA Comic Con thing and everything, also, right. Which, you know, but it wasn't actually at that I met him. So I can't tell. I can't tell the full story, but
right.
You know.
Well, yeah, I get that, man. Still, that's a great memory to hold on to.
Yeah, it's cool.
Moving forward, Ryan. I'm breaking kayfabe. I'm breaking kayfabe left and right here. So, this is like probably the last place everyone wants to show up to while I break kayfabe. But Rhyno, what do you got for us, man?
I gotta say what's up to my buddy Sean.
Yeah.
He was in the chat there, and he sent me this that I'm going to open tomorrow on my show, and it's a unknown contents, but he said I'm going to love it. So I'm doing this on my show tomorrow. But for today, one of the things, right now, I wanted to talk about is one of my favorite things about what we do is the hunt, and it doesn't always have to be for the expensive book. It's just finding the book. So I'm going to show a couple books that I hunted for quite a while, and again, they're not expensive books, but it was just fun to find them. One is these are two Night Watch. You ever seen Night Watch before? I'd never heard of Night Watch or heard anything about them, but it has Venom in there. So since it had Venom, I had to get a Night Watch, and they weren't pricey. But they were just hard to find. So this was just represented like the cool, like, oh yes, finally I'm glad I got this to kind of fill out the spot of like the hole that I had. But not only like the hole and finding a books, I also really big in finding a really good deal. At best, I like finding a good buy.
Yep.
It has to be just knowing that I got a really good deal. And ASM 361 was one that I had on my list for a while, and I had checked out a couple places, and people were very happy they had that book, and they have it at particular prices that were a little bit more than I always wanted to pay. I remember running into a lady, and I drove an hour outside of Houston to go meet her. She said she had a bunch of books to look at, and she did, and she just wanted, but she was driving a hatchback, and she was smoking cigarettes with all the comic books behind there, and I was like, oh man, like I was like, I hope, but they were in good shape, but she wanted a whole bunch for the 361. So I was like, she's like, and it wasn't that she wanted a whole bunch, but it was just more than I felt I should pay for a book that had some damage to it. So I was like, I'm gonna pass. She's like, you're gonna regret this. She's like, she remember telling me, you're gonna regret this. You'll never find this deal ever again. You're gonna be begging me, calling me back, begging for this book. And I was like, I don't think so, but I appreciate it. Well, that's cool because the waiting paid off. So I waited around. I actually found a guy on Facebook Marketplace who was selling 361, 62, and 63. And those are kind of hit or miss if there is anything that's going to be good with it or not. And I messaged the guy like, hey, I'm interested in those books you have. What are you asking? He's like, $100 for the set. I was like, oh, okay, so it's at a decent price. I want to check it out and see what's going on. So it took some time to finally get up and a chance to meet him. But when I met him, he was a cool guy from New York. Said he bought the books originally. He got them and put them inside the bag and never moved them and never really touched them. And I was, even then I was so kind of leery. But when he brought out the books, I sent him off, and this was the 361 that I got,
Ooh, newsstand.
It's a 9.8, and it is a newsstand. And I was like, and so this and the 361, 362, 363 all together. And I was, like I said, is a bill. And it was $100, yeah, for the whole.
I'm sorry. Well, let's pause, rewind, state that again, please.
361, 363, 363 for one bill or $100. And they were raw when I got them.
People are buying that book alone raw for $100+ in high grade, right?
Yeah.
And
it was raw when I got it, so there was no grading. But when he bought it actually off the newsstand and put a board. He said he put a board on the front and back, and he really just said it and didn't forget it. He didn't know it would be anything, but yeah, it was. It came back. The colors on it were just crazy, like how solid the colors were, because he had a board on the front of it. So it really never really touched the light of day that much. But
God, that's sharp.
Nice. Such a hard book to get a 9.8.
Yeah. So I'm glad you brought that up, Kavi, because I actually have some personal experience in trying to get these books graded, and whether it's ink smudges or tears at the bottom, which they're attributing to the manufacturer, the direct edition is hard to get in 9.8, let alone the newsstand edition in 9.8, and one that presents as well as that is just, that's money in the bank right there.
Yeah.
I couldn't sell that book. I've got one and I can't sell it. I
have a 9.6 and I've sold 3 other 9.6s because I've tried to get a 9.8 4 times.
Well,
you tried to get a 9.8 4 times?
Yeah, I thought I had 9.8s like 4 times, but I had 9.6s, I guess.
I entered Andy's contest, the dad joke contest, and I ended up winning the prize through the random draws of it. And so he had 361 as one of the prizes. And so I got it because he had a second print. And so I was able to get, fill my second print empty space with that one. I was really stoked to get that one. And then, I had the first print, but I knew I had that one already there. So, but it was cool. And so now if that lady's watching, I did get a good deal.
I'm glad you brought up the hunt as part of that topic, because that rolls right into mine. My next experience was by far my favorite hunt experience, and that's my Holy Grail hunt of 2019, my ASM 129 in the back corner there over my shoulder. I was able to pick it up in Baltimore. The long story short is the community and a lot of people I talked to realized we talked about this. This is the book I was going to hunt for 2019. And the Comic Corps goes to Baltimore. Bear Island sends me a message that opening day. He's like, hey, I'm not sure this is in your price range. He's like, but this guy's got an 8.5 white pages. And he knew that I was looking for an 8.0 or better white pages. And here's the dealer. Here's the picture. And I'm like, yeah, I don't know. Let me think about it. And I did the wham bam thank you man, ran around until I was about ready to pass out at the convention in the first hour to try to find everything. Back at that dealer. And it's Darren,
one of my friends, Dicko Club. Yeah,
I will always hit him up for a book now.
He's my guy, dude. I love Darren.
I went to Darren and I'm like, hey, I'm new at making opening these conversations up when it comes to grails, but books, big boy books. And that's like kind of a baby big boy book, right?
No, it's a big boy book.
It's a big boy book in any grade.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, please forgive my ignorance here, but I'm like, this is what my wife and I prepared to bring cash. And he's like, I can't do it on that book. I'm like, okay. I'm like, let me take a walk and let me think about it and let me do what everybody's expecting. He's going to think about it. I'm going to think about it. And I come back and I up it, I'm like, where are we at here? This is what I can do. And he's like, you know what? If you've got another $50, he's like, I can do it. And he gave me such a stellar deal on that book. So the community, the family, the convention, the great dealer, the cash sale on the floor, it all came together in probably the greatest comic book purchasing experience ever, in my opinion. For me, the only thing terrible about it was I drove all the way from Michigan to Baltimore and back in a 3-day period.
That's a drive, dude. Damn.
And when Google says 9.5 hours, they're lying. That was like a 12-hour drive each way.
They don't calculate pee breaks and snack breaks and stuff.
Yeah. So I'm glad you brought up the hunt, man, because that was one of my amazing experiences that I love talking about because it includes so many different facets of collecting in the community. Was that ASM 129, and that is a book that will never leave my collection. And the only thing that's going to happen is maybe 20 years from now I upgrade. Maybe I upgrade, but still that 8.5 has such a story behind it. It's not going anywhere ever.
For sure.
That makes me wish I brought out one of the books that I got from Darren, because one of them is a big book and has a dramatic story behind it that involves multiple cities, me breaking my foot, and me still traveling to a convention with a broken foot, and hobbling around and whatnot, and then finding a grail that Darren had, making a deal with him in one city, and then completing that deal at New York Comic Con that year.
Oh wow!
When a month later, where I was healed up a little bit and had a better experience instead of hobbling around a con floor, I got to have that glory moment. That's always great.
Awesome.
Yeah. So it's a good time to hit up the chat, but we can skip the chat for a moment because everybody's still hanging out. I greatly appreciate everybody watching. Thanks for the support because I'm still figuring this whole thing out. So this is kind of an adventure and a journey. So Kavi, do you have something next for us?
Yeah, I mean, should I combine my last two things and do them quickly or whatever or something like that? Because I do have two things.
We're a little over an hour. I could continue talking.
I'll do these quick. So last year, New York Comic Con 2019, I got the chance to have a roommate for my home season con, and that roommate was Jeffrey Comic Con Henson. And the series of videos and streams we did, I think were like a hit, if you will, in the community that weekend. And everything we were doing, posting, our photos of us hanging out on Instagram, eating pizza, whatever the hell we were doing, with other community members, just us. Comic book stuff, AOKs. I AOK'd him a Hulk 3, which was the origin of Hulk. I got to AOK. I got issues Chris at that convention with my ASM 129. Speaking of ASM 129s, so there were some great moments I got to have with good friends of mine in the community, and that was the first one. That was the first major con where my YouTube presence actually led to some sort of recognition. I was literally having a conversation with Gem Mint, and I was just talking to Gem Mint right outside Very Gary's booth. Okay, Very Gary Comics, who also now has a popular YouTube channel. Mm-hmm. And we were talking, and a lot of people are recognizing Gem Mint, obviously, but one dude walked by and said, "Hey, CBNYC, I watch your videos," or whatever, and just walked by, and I was like, "What is happening?" That I didn't expect that. There were so many little moments like that at that convention, and me and Jeffrey got to hang out with a lot of other YouTubers, both local to the New York area, like Arsenio, the art chemist, some of the New York Warriors guys, Big Lion Cat. So it was a blast. I really do miss Jeffrey. I know he hasn't been part of the community so much lately or whatever, but I still talk to him. And it was awesome having him here, essentially living here with me for a week. And when I started my YouTube channel and I started posting comic books to Instagram, did I ever think I would be having somebody from the other side of the country come hang out for 4 or 5 days at New York Comic Con? That was so far from my radar, doing something like that. But we did that. That was real, that was legit. So I'm not going to show you all the books that I got at New York Comic Con, but I'll show these two because these two are pretty special to me. Both done by Ryan Otley. So one Spider-Man, half Peter Parker, half Spider-Man, Ryan Otley, original, and Invincible. Nice. Yeah. So Ryan Otley, one of my favorite modern artists. Definitely really, really happy to have gotten these two pieces at New York Comic Con. So those are definitely probably some of my favorite mementos of that convention. But there were a lot of books that were Jeffrey and I went hard at that con, man. We both with our like time and our wallets. It was a blast. Like we barely got any sleep for like 5 days.
Can you do this community one huge favor and hit up the Heartbreak Kid and let him know that we wish him well?
I will do that. Yeah. I mean,
Yeah.
I've been doing that, but I will do it again and officially from you
Yeah,
as well.
officially from all of us.
Yeah.
I know I can speak for probably 30 or 40 people out there that say we wish him well. We look forward to seeing him again, and he is missed. So
Word. Agreed.
Yep.
Yeah, I miss him and Smurf.
Yeah,
Smurf too, yeah.
Doing well, my understanding. Yep.
Yeah, he's in Smallville somewhere plowing fields with no
Oh,
internet.
okay. Wait, and should I do my last one at the same time, or are we going to wait another round?
If you need to, man, for time, go right ahead.
I think I would prefer to just do it quickly now because we're
Sure.
kind of running along. All right,
Yeah,
so
good.
almost all these other things had like sentimental things. This one's sentimental purely for me. This is like my selfish collector goal. Like I reached this goal as a collector of nerdy crap, you know what I mean? And I can't believe it type of sentimental. And that's, you know, my all-time favorite artist is Jack Kirby. Artist, period. Not just comic book artist. My all-time favorite artist is Jack Kirby. And, you know, this is my ultimate grail, a published Jack Kirby original art page. From Captain America and the Bronze Age. And that panel right there with Cap, Falcon, and the Kirby signature right there is my favorite thing that I own right here. So
That's so cool.
Hold on. Does anybody have a shovel to pick my jaw up from the floor? Holy moly.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
So so that's at the top of my collection. I don't care what comic books I ever get. This is it. This is my top. This is my thing.
I guess they won't be able to do that. It's a great. I know that like some of the grading companies will grade stuff like that for.
I would never send an OA page to a grading company or any kind of encapsulation service or whatever. I will eventually get that professionally matted, framed museum archival glass, like the best money can buy as far as UV protection and everything, and really like have it present really well. I'm super into custom framing. I do a lot of custom framing for my original art collection and stuff like that. That's an expensive endeavor in itself, just the framing. Not you know, let alone the art, you know, but the framing too is pretty expensive. So I go slow with that. And right now I can't go at all. Like my framers have literally 2 of my pieces held hostage right now, and I can't get them back until this quarantine's over.
Yeah, and framing can be hundreds of dollars. Mm-hmm. It's not just $40-$50. You can spend hundreds, if not thousands of dollars for framing.
Yep.
Yeah, definitely.
It copies, in case I don't want you to misunderstand, when I was doing this, I wasn't burning the book. It's like a concert. Like,
no, I know what you were doing. I totally got it. Yeah, I totally get it.
I was trying to burn the page.
Yeah, it was like it was like this. It was like, you know, headbang.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
Just wanted to make sure everyone understood. Yeah.
Hey, dude, I love artwork. Artwork's like I'm more passionate about collecting artwork the past couple of years than comics, and that's been my thing. You know, I host a show called Original Art Hour. TJ will be on that next Thursday actually, so that 8:00 Eastern. So I can't wait to hang out with TJ and share some of our art in our collection. But that's been my jam lately. I got a lot of other original art collectors lined up to come on that program the next 5-6 weeks, so it'll be fun.
I'm definitely going to check that out. I love art myself too. I don't have much I don't have a whole lot of it, but I like different styles of art, whether it be like photography or that's why I always viewed the music that we did as avant-garde type of art.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
that's amazing.
NYC here has really inspired me that when I start getting on the hunt for Punisher stuff, to actually look for Punisher original art too. Haven't quite found what I'm looking for, but the day I do, you know, I'm hitting you up with a message, man.
Yeah, and that's a great way to look at it too. Like, make sure you have some sort of personal connection to the art, especially for like your first couple pieces or definitely your first piece. Like, don't look at it like an investment. Like, look at it like, oh, I really like this piece of art, you know, I connect with it, and here are the reasons why I connect with it. You know, I'm a fan of that artist. I really like this panel, whatever. Like, there's certain things that you can latch onto on a piece of art and have a personal connection with. And then that's like step one. Step two then is, okay, well, what's the price of this current page on the market? You can't really, it's hard to look up like, yeah, sure, maybe that one page is floated around, circulated, and has had previous sales that you could try and find, but there's only one, you know what I mean? Yeah. So it's not
what the market will bear.
Yeah, it's the variability of the market is much more extreme. And you don't have a GPA 90-day average. You don't have a go collect fair market value. You don't have any of that stuff. You have what other pages by the same pencil and ink combination team on a Punisher book that has 3 panels with Punisher in 1 out of the 3 panels. That's the best that you have to look at comps, like, you know, to use a real estate term. Like, that's the best you can do, and you can sort of make a judgment call from there. But that's why step one is so important. You really need to have a personal connection to the art, because you really need to understand that even if you burn X amount of dollars on this and it's worth $0 the next day, you should be still happy with it, because it's a one-of-one piece of artwork, and that's the way you have to approach it. In my opinion, that's the best way to approach it.
No, well, yeah, you could end up going bank account to bank account with somebody, and whoever's got the biggest one wins.
Yeah, exactly. For some things, yeah, definitely. For Silver Age John Byrne art, or like Silver Age Jack Kirby art, like, you know, I'm priced out, man. You know.
Yeah, that's one of the reasons why I like Venom, because it lends to, there's a lot of art type covers for Venom. There's a lot of crazy stuff with, you know, with the character, and so that is one of my draws to Venom as well. Yeah.
All right, moving on. TJ, last hit, man. We're running a little long, so you got something for us?
This is the one I was going to end with anyhow. I don't know if you all know the story of how I got on YouTube, but I almost never discovered YouTube, this community. I was, just trying to get on Looper on YouTube, and it kept switching back to reviews from the Batcave. And then I turned Looper on again. I went back to reviews in the Batcave. And then said, screw it. Went on my iPad, and what was the reviews from my Batcave was on the TV. And I'm just looking through books on eBay and stuff, and ignoring it completely, background noise. And then all of a sudden someone said, and I just got this Vampirella book. And someone said Vampirella, which is a passion of mine. And I said, so I actually got my glasses on and looked up. And there was Matt Thanatos holding this book.
Oh, yeah.
And so he got my attention. And because of this book he was holding, I messaged him, started a conversation, because I also found out he liked Green Lantern. And it started one of the best friendships I've ever had in my entire life. I really feel like he's my adopted son. It's been like 2 years now since this happened. Now, this book, this is the actual book he held up on that show.
Ooh.
He put it up for sale on Instagram, and it broke my heart that he was selling this book. And it said, dude, take that off of Instagram. I'm buying this right now. And so this is the actual book that I discovered the community with. Not only did I discover Matt, but I led to Alec and John, and which I also feel like they're my children. And it's changed my life. This one book that he held up changed my life.
That's awesome.
That's outstanding.
Cool. Yeah.
That is outstanding.
So, that is an amazing cover, and an amazing thing that you have with your relationship with Thanatos.
Yeah, this is the actual book he held up. And
that's awesome. That's so cool.
Thank you for sharing that, because that's you. I mean, Ryan, I don't think we can top that at all. I don't think we can top that.
It's not about topping. It's just about sharing.
No, exactly. Yeah, it's not about topping. Correct. Yeah, NYC, you're right, man. It's not about topping that. Let me take a quick moment. I promised a couple of really good announcements, and I know we hit that Eastman announcement with Mainframe Comic Con. Man, that book, man, TJ, I'm still thinking.
Story is cool, man. You're a great storyteller.
I'm still looking at that book in my head, man.
really hear about this.
So really quick, the next announcement for Mainframe Comic Con is Greg Rucka is 100% confirmed on board for Mainframe Comic Con. So if you don't know Greg Rucka, you should. I know I need to learn more about him, but he will be on this weekend. God, it starts tomorrow.
Mm-hmm. Tomorrow's Friday.
It's right here, man.
The opening ceremonies here at the Comic Core start tomorrow, so we're really looking forward to that. Moving along, Rhyno, what do you got for us, man?
Well, I do have a couple, but I'll do the story first. And I'll do the next one, the last one last fast. So one of the books that when I got back, so I got back into collecting comics roughly about 11 months ago, from when I was a kid, and my wife and I had just moved to a new place earlier in the year, and before then, let me rewind a little bit. So we've been married about 2 years. We were wanting to have children, but unfortunately, my wife had a miscarriage, and so got through that year. We decided to start fresh, move to a new place. We moved to a new place, and I was like, "Yeah, I'm gonna check out the area," you know. And I went into a comic book shop and came home, and I had a bag and it had a couple of books in there. My wife's at that point never saw me with comic books. Now she's seen me a million times, but she's never saw me at that point. She's like, "What you got in the bag?" And I was like, "Oh, I got a couple comic books." And she said, "Why?" And I was like, "Well, nostalgia purposes, I guess." I was like, I just kind of enjoyed it, wanted to go check out this, check out the shop, whatever. And she's like, "Well, you think your kids are going to want to read your books or something?" And I was like, "Well, if we ever have any." And she said, "Well, you got one on the way now." So that's how she told me that she was with my son, who's he's almost about 4 months old. When that happened, I was like, so I decided right then, I was like, all right, I'm going to collect books because I want to give these to my kid when they're out, and I'm going to start now and go forward. And I made goals, and one of my goals was to get a ASM 300 because I didn't have it. And that's one of the grails for everybody. So everyone knows that's an expensive book. Again, it's one of those things that's like buying stock in the stock market. When a stock's doing really, really good, it's up there, and it's hard to find it at a good deal. And I'm not really comfortable in spending that type of money on books. Never spent any kind of that type of money on books, and had never done it. But I knew for that particular book, I said, well, if I get at least 600 books, then I'm going to do that, because I was 300 times 2 was 600, so that means I had to get that book. So I hit that mark. Decided again. I was looking. I checked a few places. I actually bought a 300 on eBay, and I was real stoked. I got a good deal. I got it for like $365 or something like that. I wasn't sure that it was a raw book. I wasn't sure what it was going to look like. The guy's like, "Hey, if you send me the cash, I'll send it. I'll send it to you. I'll mail it to you today." I'm like, "Awesome." Send him the cash. 2 weeks later, I'm like, "Dude, where's this book at?" He's can't find. He said he's gonna send it. Got busy, got called into work, and then he come back with, "Man," and I bought a couple extra books. So I wanted him to be like, well, at least he sold that book so cheap that I was like, let me get him buy a couple more books just to kind of help him, even out the costs. He's like, "You'll never believe this. I came home and the dog ate that 300. The other 2 books are still there, but the 300 got eaten." I was like, "You got to be joking me." And I know at the end of the day, what happened was he got a better offer on the book and he sold it to someone, because there's no way that a package of 3 books and there's one particular book that got eaten.
Dog ate my Venom.
That's what everybody told me. He said my dog ate the book. So I was already bummed about that. So searching, came across my buddy Jeffrey Tuning, and I'm trying to talk fast so I get through this, going to run it short. There's all kinds of auctions I watch, and I always have a few auctions that I keep a watch on and Facebook. And it's my buddy Jeffrey Tuning. He messaged me one day. He goes, "Hey man, I know you're looking for an ASM 300. I'm gonna put one up today, and I want to put it up because I know you're looking for one. But I'm gonna leave it up to the auction to see what you get it at, and I'm gonna start it off at $250." And I was like, "All right, cool." So I went into it. I was like, "Man, it's gonna be hard because I know the people that are in there are gonna be all over that. They're gonna, really, really get in, they're really going to get into it. So he puts it up, and sure enough, I put my bid in, and sure enough, some right behind me bids it again. And I was like, dude, this thing's going to go out. It's going to get out further than what I'm comfortable or can put into this book. So Jeffrey told everyone, he's like, hey guys, I just want to let y'all know that I put this book out because I know Ryan's looking for 300. He's in the auction right now. I said that I would leave it up to everyone else, but I'm gonna put this out there for him. But anyone's welcome to it. But this is the reason why I put it out here. So when he said that, everyone backed up. They stopped bidding on the book and was just like, the bidding was less than 300, and everyone was like, there was umpteen people, 20 people watching, but no one bid on it because they knew that they were allowing me to get something that was really going to be special to myself.
That's the community, man.
It is. And so I got it, and I was stoked just to get it. And so I didn't even see the book. I said, send it to my buddy Dylan, who runs Hogjaw Comics on eBay, and he's going to take care of the pressing for me. And he did, and sent it in CGC, and it came back 94
white pages,
and it's a newsstand as well.
Nice.
So it was real cool. Just though the biggest thing on that was that everyone was like, all right, we're gonna let this guy get backed off and like let him get what he wanted to get, and that was it. So one more thing, and I'm gonna be done.
Yeah, go ahead and wrap up what you want to wrap up, man. Yeah.
So I got one package here from Outcast Comics. No one was in the chat earlier, and this is stuff from C2E2. And in my channel, I do a lot of unboxings. So I wanted to unbox these with everyone.
Is that what I think it is? It is. I think it is.
It is.
This is dope.
Yeah. So this
is it from the Jim Lee signing by chance, or is it something else?
Huh?
Is it from the Jim Lee signing? I see a yellow label.
There are a couple of yellow labels.
I'm excited for this.
Excited for this. There's two in here. The first one is the What If 9/8, yeah, and it's by Scotty Young, obviously. So that was one that I got from C2E.
Is that his most expensive cover, like on the market, like his Grail, basically? Like
I believe so.
For Scotty Young collectors.
I don't know how much more over that, but yeah,
I think you're right, man.
And then the last one I got was this one.
Oh yeah, that Clayton Crane. Yeah, that's a great cover.
Yeah, and this one's actually kind of jacked up too, because you can tell in here he started with a different color, and the pen started messing up, so he changed colors midstream. And started doing it. It's not that Infinity signature. It's just
right. He charges extra for the Infinity, right? Or
typically, but
the rainbow or whatever it is. I don't know.
This one, the color started fading out or something like that, so he changed it out. It's kind of like a purplish to red. But yeah, so this is my first time I've seen it. Or check this out. But
I totally just blew everybody's ears out. Sorry, but I am as invested in this as you are, dude. Yeah. I've been waiting to see these grades on these books forever.
I know, dude. I've had this one's been in my. I've had it for such a long time, and I was like, and it's traveled to there because I didn't go to C2. I sent it to a buddy, and he's the one Nolan from Outcast really hooked it up and got it taken care of for me. So yeah,
nice. Very cool, dude.
Okay, so now you gotta get yourself a mount and hang that right next to the picture of your mini me back there.
Yeah.
Yes. that giant little gap of open space right there.
Is he not as good?
Yeah.
Dude,
awesome. That's hard to beat. It's hard to beat that story. That's a whole nother show all on its own.
Yeah, for sure.
I'm Ryan. Thank you, man. I am stoked for that. The double 9/8 signature and that Clayton Crane 1 signature came back. Oh, dude,
that's cool, man. It's so stoked. It's awesome. I ain't seen him yet, so we saw him together. It's really awesome.
So now I've learned an important lesson here. Never end the show on the host's last thing. Probably should have started. I got to start it so that it ends with a guest. Really quick, last major announcement for Mainframe Comic Con that I had tonight. and this is coming from Dad himself. Matt Fraction is going to be with us as well.
Oh, wow.
Sweet.
That's
So
awesome.
yes, that is pretty awesome. Thank you everybody for watching and hanging out for those announcements. Mainframe Comic Con. I don't know about you guys, but I got money burning a hole in my pocket. So I'm looking forward to donating. I'm looking forward to maybe grabbing some books and seeing some great content.
I haven't been looking forward to something this big since Live Aid.
Yes.
There you go.
I'm going to wrap up my last one really quick. And this is very near and dear to my heart. I'm going to combo these two. This is it, and namely what you said earlier, the community. This community and discovering this community was massive for my well-being, my being as a person, my knowledge, my education. This really is what forums used to be in the early 90s when we messaged each other back and forth and posted, "Hey, I'm looking for this. Hey, I'm looking for that." This is how we do that now. We get to do it face to face and interact, thankfully, because of technology. So that is impressive. And I'm going to roll that right into my top experience is everybody laughs at me on how many copies I own of Saga and how many I have cleaning or pressing or going to the CGC. We were told we could never have kids. We were given that message. And when you get that message, you reevaluate your life's decisions. And 99% of me was like, this is a terrible message to deal with. And then there's that 0.1 or 1% of me was like, you get to think about yourself for a minute again. So we sat down and we had that 5-year discussion, that 5-year plan of what we were going to do next. So we talked about getting into hobbies again. And I'm like, I've already rebuilt my Punisher collection from when I was a kid. Let me get back into comic books again and actually start collecting, mainstream collecting, regular collecting. And when I walked into my local comic book shop that I hadn't been to for a long, long time, I can't wait to see him again. And I'm actually hoping to get some of my LCS guys on this show if I can find them and get a hold of them. The first book they suggested that I get into was Saga. And I wish I would have pulled the trade to show you guys. For anybody that hasn't read Saga, that first page opens up with that family giving birth to a child.
Yes, it does.
I took that book and threw it at the wall.
Man.
I spent that $9.99 Image trade paperback one to read a book, and the first page was a couple having a child. And I'm like, you've got to be kidding me, universe. This is terrible. Within 2 weeks of buying that book, we found out we were pregnant with our first child.
It's awesome.
Man, it's an awesome feeling.
The universe, man. The universe does its thing. The universe delivers. So,
what happened to TJ?
TJ, if he has audio issues, he'll pop back in. We thank you, TJ, if you can get back in a moment. People kind of like, Andy, how many Saga books are you going to get? I'm going to get all of them because that collection is that near and dear to my family's heart. And when I sat down and read that, that I became a completionist collector of Saga. Now I don't have a full run of 9/8 of all of the books,
Right.
but we're working on all the 9/8 for number 1 at least. And
That's awesome, dude. That's an awesome collecting goal, an awesome book. Great story, by the way. That's fantastic. I mean, I love that book, man. That's such a great book. I mean, that's the book that got me sort of reading again. You know, like I think around 2014, I got that trade, that volume 1 trade. Mm-hmm. Something around that time frame, and that got me reading again. And yeah, I have a 9/8 first print, but I don't have any of the other prints. I would love to add that collecting goal to my list at some point. I just haven't prioritized it, but that's a great goal, dude. How far away are you from that goal?
There are surprisingly 11 covers for number 1.
Jeez.
Yeah, and it's actually a lot tougher than I thought it was going to be. I got lucky and found a number of them for really cheap. Like basically the cost for shipping and slabbing, roughly 50 bucks. You buy a 9/8 for 50 bucks.
Your printings and stuff. Pretty affordable.
First prints, 300 plus. The second print, third print were affordable. The fourth print is really kind of limited at about 1,400 and change copies. Fifth print wasn't too bad. The Image firsts were actually more difficult than I thought because they're sold as dollar books. There's a 2012, a 2014, and a 2017 printing. And apparently the 2014 printing is very limited and hard to find.
Mm-hmm.
And then you've got your retailer incentive.
The retailer incentive is the one that scares me from having that goal, because I don't know if I want to spend that much on one modern 9.8 book.
We've been paying attention to the market, and when everybody got their stimulus, the last 4 Blue Label 9.8s on eBay sold within a week.
Seriously?
Yes.
Wow.
And I'm waiting that one out to watch it, because that is a pretty big commitment for a family to make.
I mean, that book costs like 3 times that stimulus check, if I'm not mistaken, right?
Yeah,
like,
it's the last
yeah,
about $2,400.
Oh my God.
Okay, really? It went down that low? Okay, because I remember when I first started looking, like researching into that book, like thinking, hey, wonder, can I swing that book? It was like 3,500 or 4K or something, and I was like, no, I can't swing that book right now.
Yeah. And there's only 500 copies of that, and only half of those are graded, and maybe half of that half actually made it to 9.8. So maybe only a quarter of 500 actually made 9.8. And there's a larger fraction of those that are signature series. So if you're like me, that sticks pretty much to Blue Labels, I've got a very small window to fall in, for that. And then pricing's a deal. But yeah, that's 11 copies.
That's an awesome goal, though.
4 away. Thankfully, I was able to find a lot of those pretty cheaply. But I have this community to thank for that goal. That 4th print that's sitting up there is actually from community member Ben C from CBSI.
Oh, nice.
I purchased that book from him. He had that clean, pressed, and sent to CGC and brought back. And I messaged him the day he was live unboxing that. And when I saw it, I messaged him. I'm like, I'm your buyer. Just set that aside right now and let's talk. And within 4 hours, we had reached an agreement and made payment. And he sent that book, and that book will forever be in this family's collection with that story behind it.
Nice, dude.
Let's hit them all in the feelings.
Dude, this is... I didn't mean for this show to be...
Lots of feelings. Stories.
Hard feelings tonight.
I didn't mean for the show to be so heavy with sentimental...
let's end it with a happy note. I see a book that you bought from me behind you also, that Punisher 9.6.
Yeah, that's incredibly important too, because that's the first graded volume, number 1 of volume 1 of the limited series.
Mike said.
And dude, any day you want to buy that back for the price I paid for it, just let me know, because I still feel guilty for paying.
Because I know you're like a hardcore Punisher guy. So when I saw it go that low, as long as it went to you and not just some guy that was going to sell it for, $50 more than that, which you could have sold it for $50 more than that on eBay or whatever. Yeah. That's all I cared about, honestly. Like, I was just trying to move that to another community member. Like, when I sell books on a YouTube auction, like 9 times out of 10, I could have gotten more money somewhere else. You know what I mean? But I choose to move those books to other community members for a decent price, and that's like a conscious decision because I'm not a weekend warrior on the auctions every week. You know what I mean? I'll like pick and choose my spots. Most of the books I sell are not on YouTube, but
yeah, well, I'll
pick and choose my spots with the YouTube auctions.
Exactly, and that's what makes this community great. Is it's variety is the spice of life, and the more people we bring into this community, what happens is the more connections we make. Well, that's the more connections and bridges that we can make and build for our own collections. I guarantee you there are people out there buying Punisher stuff that it's not part of their PC.
Right.
And they would let that stuff go if they knew about me and about my collection. Same with your original art.
Dude, I let that book go to you for cheap, and I gave away my ASM 129 to a good friend of mine in the community that Punisher means a lot more to him, and he was forced to sell his entire comic book collection due to certain, personal drama and financial hardships and, other things, you know what I mean? Life, you know what I mean? So like, I would much rather have guys like that. If the book doesn't mean as much to me, like, and it's not going to hurt me to either sell it for a good deal or, or give it as a gift if I can, I'm going to do it.
Yeah, I'm thinking when I get a lot of books and that they're outside of Venom stuff, then it means a lot. Those books might mean a lot more to someone else than they are me because I collect Venom, and so I really will try to, blow them out, or just like, make a sweet deal or whatever you want to do, so that people get their books that they want for their collection, because I like it when it happens to me.
Yeah, I mean, you get a book at a certain price range, and you know what it costs to CGC and ship it back and forth, and you know where you're at financially with a book, and you know where it's at selling the last few sales. People are willing to sell in the community for a better deal than
I definitely am.
Yeah, you don't have the fees. You don't have there's a whole, we could do a whole nother show on selling.
Yeah.
This. Yeah.
Sure.
NYC, Rhyno, guys, I think
Great show, guys.
Great
Awesome stuff. Thanks for having me.
We've gone over our announcements. Greg Ruck is on board for the Mainframe Comic Con. Kevin Eastman's on board for the Mainframe Comic Con. Matt Fraction's on board for the Mainframe Comic Con. This just keeps adding up, man. This is going to be an amazing weekend. And I've got the TV in the living room that's set up to stream. I've got my computer set up to stream. I've got all my mobile devices ready to go. I'm not going to miss a part of this.
Hell yeah, man. I got my phone, my iPad, my computer, and my big screen all within reach where I'm at. And I'll be here all weekend long. Tuning in, bidding, donating. It'll be good.
Yeah. And if anybody's,
Quick plug real quick.
Yeah.
Yeah, go.
Tomorrow, I'll be interviewing Anthony Moore, which is a artist from an independent comic book. He wrote something called Realms, and he's currently writing something called Muffin Man. So I'll be doing an interview with him tomorrow. This guy from Boston, actually, and he's really sounds like a fun character. I'm really excited about to do the interview. So tomorrow, Rhino's Comic Report at 7 Eastern.
Nice.
Yep.
So that's a great segue into, hey, man, Kavi, what do you have coming up on the forefront here?
Well, I just hit 700 subscribers today, so I'm going to be launching a 700 subscriber, appreciation giveaway contest. What do you call it? Hopefully next week, I'll have to put together some sort of idea and video and prizing and all that. So it takes a couple days, but I'm hoping to get that out next week. I just literally not more than 4 hours ago dropped a haul video on my channel, Quarantine Comic Book Haul #2. My first quarantine comic book haul was pretty popular, over 300 views. So it's been another 4 weeks since, the first 3 weeks of quarantine for me. This is my 7th week, unfortunately, and I'm about to go insane. But that's neither here nor there. So I did put out that haul video, so we didn't get a chance to put that out. I actually did an editing on it. I put music in it, editing. Like, I never do that. You know what I mean? Like, I'm a live guy. You guys know I go live a lot. But that was an actual edited haul video, so I'm pretty proud of that one. So hopefully you guys can go check that one out. I just had Brian from Take the Time Collectibles on the Original Art Hour program on Tuesday night. That was epic. He showed some insanely great art. His original art collection is insane. And there are like 5 other episodes of that to check out on my channel. There's a playlist right at the top of the channel for Original Art Hour. 2 more episodes of that show coming up next week. On Tuesday night, 8 p.m. Eastern, Mike the Collector sits down with me, a newer channel, newer community member. He also collects art, so he's going to sit down with me. Then Thursday night, 8 o'clock Eastern, me and TJ, who was just on the program with us tonight, we'll be doing the Original Art Hour, and we'll be looking at TJ's art collection, which is going to be an awesome time. I can't wait to do that show with him. And then we got several other guests lined up beyond that to do the show. We got Knights of Old is going to be doing the show.
Nice.
Bubs Comics is going to be doing the show.
Nice.
D-Runk Comics is going to be doing the show. So we got a lot of guests for the art show coming up, and I've got more people hitting me up to do it. So it seems to be connecting. I hope that people are watching it and appreciating it, because you're not really seeing a lot of other channels cover it or share it as frequently as I am doing that show. So that's what I want to plug. It was a bunch of stuff, but thanks for giving me the platform to promote it a little bit.
That's dope, man. I'm looking forward to that, and have Papa Runk on and have everybody else on for original art. Yeah, dude, I look forward to that. Next Thursday is going to be pretty dope. And you said, what was that, 9 p.m. Eastern? 8
p.m. Eastern next Thursday is TJ's. And on Tuesday it will be 8 p.m. Eastern, Mike the Collector. Next week. Yep.
So 2 nights next week. You're going
2
live.
nights next week. That's not going to be like a normal week. It's just I had to fit in schedules and whatnot and just fit it in. But
Dude, that's dope, man. I'm looking forward to that. Congrats
Thanks.
again on 700.
Sure.
It seemed
Thanks.
like just yesterday we were doing the loose change challenge at 500.
Yeah, that's crazy. I mean, well, it seems just like yesterday, but in reality, it was like 6 months ago.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So I grow my sub count grows like snails. You know what I mean? Like it's like every 6 months I get like 250. So maybe when New Year's 2021 comes around, I'll be getting that 1K. We'll see.
Yeah. Dude, that's pretty dope, man. That's awesome.
Thanks.
So the chat's on board with you too, man. Congrats on 700 from everybody. Geeky Mama
Thanks,
Bear,
guys.
popping over. Mr. Gretzky's still hanging out. Thanks, guys, for everybody hanging out. Ryan, do you have anything else you want to plug before we go?
That's it, man. I gotta skedaddle. My little one's out here waiting for he goes in his sack. But yeah, that's all I got tomorrow on Rhyno Comic Report. I'll be interviewing him. Well, I do have some other stuff lined up, but I haven't got it scheduled out yet. But
okay,
another artist for next week, and then I have a community member, Chris Myron, who's another collector buddy of mine. He and I are doing a show pretty soon too.
Very cool. So TJ just messaged us. Sorry. He said his internet went out, so that's why TJ dropped. TJ, if you watch this on the replay,
that sucks. Sorry, TJ.
We missed you. Sorry, your internet went out.
It's good hanging with TJ too, for sure.
Yeah, I greatly appreciate your guys' time, and this was a blast.
Absolutely.
The stories were great.
Dude, it was fun.
Everybody in the chat, thank you so much. This made for a great time. Yeah, we're gonna end it here, and you guys can find remember, hit that subscribe button on the Comic Core, be a part of the Comic Core family. Don't forget to check the description on this video and subscribe everybody's content. Rhyno's Comics, make sure you check him out on Facebook, Instagram, and his YouTube channel. Let's try to hit that 100 mark for you. Let's get you from that 20 to 100.
That first little hurdle.
Yep. And NYC,
you'll be there in no time, bro.
NYC, man, you're gonna be at 1,000 in no time, dude.
I hope so. We'll see. I mean, here's the thing. Like, even if I do, I don't know if I'll monetize my channel or anything like that. I haven't really given that much thought. But yeah,
you'll be there in no time, and then you'll have to spend some time thinking about it. So
yeah, hopefully,
guys, thank you so much.
Good problem to have. Hopefully,
yeah, that would be. This has been a blast. We're gonna go ahead and end it here. We almost went 2 hours, but this was probably the best 2 hours of geekdom comic book talk I've had in a long while, and I can't thank you guys enough. So I'm gonna close this out with my favorite. I'm gonna go pinkies out. I'm gonna go peace out. I'm gonna catch y'all on the flip side for more fun. Hell yeah. Have a good night, everybody.